You definitely want doors to be seen. So if you put the dynamic line too far forward, you won't be able to see the door, and players will be confused. So what I like to do is make that U shape, kind of cradle the door like that. It works pretty effectively for me. You have to know which direction people are entering and exiting from, but at this point, you've probably read the. I mean, if you're setting it up, you should definitely have read it, so it shouldn't be a problem. But that's just my opinion. Maybe some people set things up without having read it. Could be. That's just like my opinion, man. That's a bold move, Cotton. See if you'll follow through. Um. Oh shoot, we have to do that part. Probably a couple more things I have to do that I forgot about to fill in, but we'll see. Okay, so got this here. The cat's making weird ass noises. Damn you's cat. Need this to look like part of the wall. So there we go. Need this to look like part of the wall as well, so we're going to invert it. That should come out in a mostly line. Okay. So what we're learning here, of course, is that save dynamic lighting for specific events and only for your most favorite players. Because it sure is a pain in the butt to set up. It's worth it. But you gotta invest. Alright, so that is one. Oh, no, we missed here. We're mostly done, though. We have most of one map of Mummy's Mask done. We'll get started on the rest of these maps in just a second here. Start that. And I forgot to put the S on the store. So we'll go to OGM Lair, go to text, and put a $sign. Boom. Okay, we'll hop over and we'll do the city now. I want to get all the places in the city properly descriptionified. There it is. It's actually on another thing. There we go. Alright, let's switch the text back to black. This isn't going to work, is it? Yeah, it's just going to give a huge... Yep. We can make it work, though. So, text here is actually terrible. It does stuff like this all the time. But we can break it up by just doing that. It's going to take a little bit of work, but... probably move this down to the map layer as well. This gives people a map key. For players to use so they know what's going on, how far things are away. Wadi becomes a big deal in the later books. I mean, book two, it's huge. So you really want this map to be set up for later. I mean, you wouldn't know that just reading the first book. But there it is. Down to the map layer. Boom. It's beautiful. People know where they are, how far it'll take them, because we got the ruler set up. What else do we want to do? let's talk about support documents for just a moment. So here's the Jade Regent support document. If you've been watching Jade Regent, you've seen this a couple times. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this thing. And we'll call it instead Mummy's Mask Compendium. And then we're going to go to my drive, find the newly minted Mummy's Mask Compendium. Come on, work with me here. You can even see my Mummy's Mask notes right here. Mummy's Mask Compendium. Where were my Mummy's Mask notes? Here we go. See, look at all these beautiful notes I made. That's 3 books worth of notes. Just 2 pages. I was pretty good at remembering that stuff, though. I want to move this. Where's my move to? I didn't start a Mummy's Mask folder, so let's do that now. We're going to make a folder called Mummy's Mask. Just to store all my stuff in. It didn't go in there. Okay. Well, I was just making the folder, so I guess it wouldn't. Mummy's Mask. Now we're going to go to it and open it again properly. So we can take the names out, and we can take the amounts out. But you kind of got your basics here. You've got, you know, the weeks, the amount of XP you're putting in. Here's formulas that are doing summing for you. There's a chart to let you know how much XP you need to level and the CR. This is the specific bonds thing I did for Jade Regent, so probably not going to need that. Relationships and Caravan were Jade Regent as well, specific. There's subsystems on that. So in general, for players, you're going to need an XP sheet, you're going to need a loot sheet, and you're going to need a notes sheet for them to make group notes. Delete all of this stuff. If you delete this stuff, boom. Now we've got the summing cell value. It'll take the base value of most items and have them, which is how Pathfinder works, except for trade goods. This is a very fancy version of the XP sheet. I'm not a fan of it. One of the players did it, but of course, I'll leave it there in case someone wants it. So we've got what the players need. We have XP for them to keep track of. We have loot for them to decide. I like to make one player the official quartermaster, but in general, it's kind of a group process. And notes. So, for instance, my own Mummy's Mask notes I made available to my other players. They never used it, but it was there. So now we have kind of this group notes where people just write things in, and it works out fine. And then what we need next is the support documents for what you as a GM need. So we'll take that out of the way, and we're going to make another spreadsheet called Mummy's Mask GM. So what do we need? We could use the book has descriptions of notable locations. So we're going to go ahead and throw those up here, including the town of Wadi stats. So if I need to quick reference them, here we go. So this is going to be sheet 1 is Wadi. And let's just go ahead and make a couple duplicate sheets because I got some ideas of how many I might need. So there we go. We got Wadi stats in case I need to reference them later. Probably not. Here are the districts. I don't think we'll need that. But we will need notable locations. Just so I can quickly come back and reference them without having too much happening. Just doing some copy paste here. Nothing major. What I'm going to go back and do is bold. You know, I don't even need to do that because I can use the find option. If someone asks, what's at Turks Find Expeditions, I can just use Control F, find it. This is just kind of so I don't have to use the PDF to flip through places. Gonna need to use the PDF enough as it is. Notable locations for another district. You see, this is pretty in-depth. I mean, they have pages and pages of this stuff because you're going to go to almost all these places over the course of this book plus the next book. And there we go. I think there's much else I need to throw up here in the GM Wadi notes. So there's the encounters. So here's the Wadi Necropolis encounters. These are for when the players are just wandering around. We've got the Necropolis. And I'm going to say book 1 because I actually know that it changes in book 2. Book 1. That's about it. Just kind of keep this as notes. This is for as a GM. Sometimes I mean, let's be honest, as a GM, you always want to have notes of what players are saying to each other. You typically don't want to try to keep it all in your head. That's a terrible idea. I'm a person that's huge about keeping things in your memory. Things that players do, you're going to want to have them written down. Who they've met with, what their relationship to each other is, that kind of stuff. Because if you even take a break for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something happens, now you've lost that knowledge. And you're making this story together. If you don't have the story written down, what's the point? So that's supporting campaign documents. I think that'll cover that. Now let's get back to finishing. Again, we're not going to do dynamic lighting for all these, but we are going to do dynamic lighting. I'm sorry, we're not going to do dynamic lighting for all these, but we are going to finish the rest of the book out. Just so that we can get a look at it. So here's something that doesn't actually have a map. It's kind of a theater of the mind called Meeting the Competition. And it's where you first meet Velriana. So I want to make a new map. And they're kind of going in order, so I'm going to throw it in here, because that's where it's going to appear in storyline-wise, and I'm just going to look for an in-map. What in it is doesn't matter that much, but let's say it is the Rusty Dragon, because apparently I have that on file. I don't really care how big things are, or that it's on grid, because this isn't a combat scenario. So we're going to want the face version of Velriana down here. And we're going to throw that on the GM layer. Just so that when we need it to show who she is, we'll pull it down. So what we'll have is the players will probably pick a table, and let's have one NPC stand in for each area. So this is Crypt Finders are kind of like ghetto Pathfinders. So let's just look for Pathfinder here. Here's a Pathfinder agent. So he's going to stand in for all the Pathfinders. We're going to give him a name and make sure the players can see it. Crypt Finders are at this table. And they can walk over and talk to who they want. The Daughters of the Desert. They are led by a human bard. So we'll say, we'll put in bard. I might have a female bard token somewhere. Range how most of them are male. That actually is a pretty badass looking bard token. Holy shit. It fits this campaign pretty well too, right? I mean, it's got like the whip and a guitar. I will accept that. This is going to be Daughters of the Desert. So sometimes players aren't going to care to visit your NPCs, but that's just life. You know, that's life. Give them a chance to do so. We need Halfling Barbarian to represent the dog soldiers, who are Halfling Barbarians with dogs, whose dogs all died in the other tombs here. Halfling Barbarian, that looks terrible. It looks like it has too much armor. Might have to go back and take that one though. I really think of barbarians as wearing armor. So sand scorpions are magus and rogues. Let's just look for a rogue. Maybe a trickstery, arcane rogue. That looks pretty good. Yeah. That looks cool. Alright, so Scorched Hand. Let's see if anything comes up. I don't want to reveal the Valriana token too soon, because if I just show that token, they're all going to immediately flock to that person. No, that's all terrible. Let's see here. Let's say wizard, because they're led by a wizard, aka Valriana. Looking for wizardy token. 3 people. That's a wizard. It's not really female looking, but we'll deal with it. So this is Scorched. And Scorched Hand does kind of sound like a wizard thing, right? I mean, you're thinking like, I'm burning people with my burning hands. All right. So that's all of them. Now we're on to the House of Penry. So these are out of order. This is going to go to left. That one. Now, this is the top map, and we got a bottom map. We definitely have to expand this. Probably 75. Pathfinder. We're going to get through these ones without the dynamic lighting. It would be much faster. Yeah, that was terrible. We'll try it again. That looks a lot better. Probably just going to need some minor adjustment from here. No, that was... Maybe? Everything lock into place. Seems like it's close to locking into place. Up, down wise. No, let's do left, right. Nope, not enough. Right, works for me. Okay. 3x3 again. Definitely want it to be below the other. Hopefully these are all in the same grid. Yep, looks like that looks pretty good so far. Maybe just a little bit this way. Yep, that looks beautiful. Okay. What we're doing now is turning the grid off. We don't need it anymore. I'm sorry, not turning the grid off, just making it invisible. Let's fill in the places. So OGM Lair. This is kind of funky because the background is. We're going to have to make it bright. It's going to need to be orange. So here's area B1, 2, and that kind of sucks. I'll roll with it. But that's not great. You don't normally get these kind of washed out white backgrounds. And there's 11. I guess I don't technically need to do them in order. I just like to do them in order. There we go. 18, 17. Breaking my concentration. And then the downstairs. Let me shift my butt here because I feel like I've been sitting in the same place for too long. Wow, we're like an hour and 20 minutes into this, so yeah. 26, 27. Nope. This is where the undead cat swarm attacked us. So we'll probably need to pull that token out. 30, and here's the upstairs. 25. Alright, those are all in place. Now to do enemy token placement. Outer gates. Inner gates have a haunt. So where is the haunt? We're going to represent haunts with a purple. The haunt, 10-foot radius inside the main gate. B3 has a giant centipede. Where is B3? B1, B2. Oh, B3. Let's find a giant centipede, eh? Probably just find a regular centipede. Looking pretty centipede-erific. Areas 4 is the doors there. Let's get some messages. Area 5 is an asp. Those are wasps. We'll just look for snake. Asp is pretty. Oops. Now let's take that. Where specifically does this asp come up? It's coiled on the shade of the stone table. Okay, guard quarters. Right here is a death dog. Is a cool name. That looks like a dog that is dead. A lot of these are dead dogs. So, really terrible. Let's look for a Pathfinder version of it, which will probably have a badass looking dog. There we go. 7. Area 8 is the skeletons, and these are the skeletons we have a picture for. So these are the Egyptian Osirian type skeletons. Shrink this. That was area 8, right? Yep. They are 14. E9 has a Scarab swarm. That looks like a swarm of scarabs. I would be suitably frightened. I don't know if it came down or not. I need to get another picture. All these look like rather than actual scarabs. We'll just get a picture of a dang scarab. They'll look like cutouts of like a Warhammer 40k or something. There. Alright, we got another Solifugid. What was that again? It was a thing. Oh, right, it's like some sort of spider. In the pantry, 3 more skeletons in the foyer. Place them about so that they're ready to move in any direction. There's a haunt 10-foot radius around area B11. So we've kind of got like 10 foot here, 10 feet here. Area 12. On all of area 12. So, like that. 13, 14, 15 is our Sandman who is pretending to be a Medusa. I am still working on Mummy's Mask, Jim. Sorry, I don't know how long ago that question was. I've been slightly distracted getting things laid down. Alright. There's a Sandman statue. B17 is the beheaded. So, I almost certainly have a token for this already. Don't. Well, I know there's a Pathfinder one of it. Watch me be wrong about that too. Well, that's the picture I already have. That is a bitchin' beheaded picture. So we're going to go ahead and use that. You know what? As long as we're here, we might as well get these handouts set up. So this is handout 0 beheaded. And this is just to give the player some context when this event happens, kind of what it looks like. And while that's loading, we're going to do handout 1-1. This. We got the AA. We got a handout for KUD. Yes, the Scarab Shield. E. And before I close any of these, I'm going to have to save all of them. But I think I've got it down here. As soon as this one's done, I should be able to just chain save them. Yep. Everything's good. Now we've got some really cool imagery to throw up to the player so that they can see what things do. And we have the handout 1, which they need. They get to the place that says, by order of the Royal Pharaoh, Gerdet 2. Alright, so where were we? We just finished the beheaded in area 17. 18. 19 has a skeleton, but the skeleton is already destroyed. So what we're going to do is we're going to just throw a skeleton token in there, just to kind of represent. Where is area 19? It's this one, right? Yeah. We're going to put it sideways, and we're going to... Maybe they'll think it's going to rise up. We'll put that on token layer, because of course, right now, if I was doing it like this, I would keep it on the OGM layer. But since I know for a fact that off stream I'm going to Fog of War and dynamic lighting everything, we'll have to come back to that. All right.